What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 9 of our bootcamp. Today, we are going to be covering our BB model. If you guys don't know, our BB model is our most profitable model by far. This is also our most rare model in terms of seeing this on the actual charts. But I'm telling you, if you can understand this and look for this as in a pattern recognition sense, where you are always looking and scanning for this opportunity, when it does present itself, you are going to make an absolute bag. Now, it is perfect that we're making this video today because the BB model presented itself. Now, the unfortunate part about that is that we had just taken a 40% win, and so I was taking a little bit of a cool off right after our win. I don't like to jump immediately right back into a trade, and then we missed the entry. So, unfortunately, we'll get to see and look at more of what I missed, and I get to dwell on it. But it is very important that we do focus on the trades that we take, the trades that we don't take, what's good, what's bad, and that's what we're going to break down in today's video. Of course, as always, I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to understand the BB model, what the BB model actually is, how to execute the trades through the BB model, and how to actually turn profitable with the BB model, because this thing is absolutely killer. There are some things that you need to do correctly, or else this is a horrible strategy, right? You need to follow all of these rules or none of these rules. Simple as that, okay? You follow it, you win. You don't follow it, you lose, right? So let's go ahead and jump into this. Before I do want to let you guys know that there are 2 videos left in this boot camp, right? So you guys have 2 more opportunities to get that free eval if you guys get 50 likes on this video. I just realized that this is in the camera shot. Sorry about that. But if we get 50 likes on this video, we will be giving away an eval tomorrow in our live trading session, okay? All you guys have to do is drop a like, subscribe, click the first link in bio, and join up. Now, lastly, I do have one more thing. As we do come to the end of this bootcamp, if you have found any useful information within this bootcamp, I highly recommend that you go into our Discord and DM me about our group coaching. We're coming out with group coaching soon. There is already over 100 hours worth of educational resources in our bootcamp, okay? And this is a private group coaching. Okay, this is only for those people that are actually serious about getting better, the people that actually want to take the steps to be profitable, and the people that are really trying to turn this into something like a job. Okay, I don't want the people in here that are just trying to make $1 million. If you're trying to make $1 million, this is not for you. This is for the people who are actually serious about making money within the market, the people who are actually serious about learning about the market, the people who are actually serious about taking the steps needed to be a good trader. Okay, once again, if you are someone who thinks they want to do that but doesn't want to take action or don't want to do any of that kind of stuff, unfortunately, this is not for you. Okay, if you're someone who's actually ambitious about learning, wanting to get better, all of those things, this is for you. So please shoot me a DM. I'm telling you, this is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to do group coaching calls multiple times a week. Like I said, we already have all of the courses and resources that you need to turn profitable. The group coaching are going to be more teaching sessions, question answering, trade recaps, etc. We are going to have a whole new part of our Discord now, and I'm very happy to announce that. So we're going to be rolling that out very soon. Make sure you guys do shoot me a DM and we can jump into that. But let's stop yapping here and go ahead and get right into our video. All right, so as we do get in here, I do first want to talk a little bit more about our orb last night. I'm going to quickly hit on this because we got a really nice orb play, so hopefully this could continue the education that you guys got in yesterday's video. If you didn't, go watch that orb video and come back to this. But we saw a orb rejection, so we go ahead and draw out our Fibonacci retracement tool, and then we look for an entry between our golden zone right here in the 0.5 to 0.618 retracement. Go ahead and get our entry out of this zone right here, take our entry right here, and play this all the way up to the 0.5 extension, okay? And this was an absolutely amazing trade right there. We were able to make $1,256 this morning. Now, after that, okay, first of all, I don't like to take trades back to back, okay? Now, unfortunately, this trade happened back to back. We end up running all the way up, sweeping these PM highs, okay, on QQQ or MNQ or NQ, whichever one, okay? So we sweep highs on one asset, okay? Then we go over to SPY and we notice that, well, SPY hasn't swept anywhere close. Their highs are all the way up here, okay? So SPY's highs, those PM highs are all the way up here, and QQQ swept their highs. So what is that? That is called an SMT, okay? We didn't talk about SMTs. I really don't think that SMTs are the most insane thing ever. It's super easy to understand. Essentially, this is when one asset sweeps a high or a low, and the other one doesn't. Okay, so we can see that NQ right here sweeps a high, and MES or ES does not. So that is an SMT. Now, when you see an SMT, you are going to switch to the asset that did not sweep. Okay, so MES didn't sweep. We're going to switch over here, right? Now, once we do see this, our BB model is at least an opportunity here. Once we see this, let's go ahead and draw out our conditions, right? So we see the sweep, and it doesn't always have to be an SMT. It just needs to be a liquidity sweep. Liquidity sweep of highs slash lows. Okay, so we got that. We got the liquidity sweep on QQQ. Just so happens that it's going to be an SMT, so this is a little bit different of an example. But once again, I like to give you guys these different examples because it's not going to be the best setup ever, or it's not going to be the best setup every time. You know what I'm saying? So I like to give you guys kind of, the outliers here. And this is a great example of understanding the market to the point where you can see this even if SPY gets nowhere close to sweeping a high. This is still a beautiful example of our BB model here. So we see that SMT. Now, after we do see this liquidity sweep of higher lows, you guys are going to laugh at how easy this strategy is. Wait for a 1 to 3 minute, or sorry, 1 to 5 minute, no, 1 to 3 minute. 1 to 3 minute fair value gap. You guys can wait on a 5 minute, but I really don't like to. Okay, so wait for a 1 to 3 minute bearish or bullish fair value gap, obviously opposite of the direction that price is moving. So if we see that we sweep highs, well, you want to see a bearish gap. Okay, if you see that we sweep lows, well, you want to see a bullish gap. Okay, you want to see us come down, retest this gap, and this is step number 3. Okay, you want to see us retest, and respect the fair value gap. Once we see that, that is our conditions. We take our entry. It's seriously that fucking easy. Okay, so we create this bearish fair value gap right here. After QQQ swept those highs, we form the SMT, letting us know that we can take this trade on MES. Okay, then we see our fair value gap get created on the 3-minute time frame, right? We all know what fair value gaps are. And this is also another strategy that you guys can use for whatever kind of confluences you need, right? So for example, not only do we respect this bearish fair value gap, but I also see that we had a bullish fair value gap right here. So this also gives me a better idea, right? That not only are we respecting bearish, but we are disrespecting bullish because I can see this happening at the exact same time, right? So once we do see that, we go ahead and take our entry off of this zone. It really was the rejection right here, right? That we would have probably entered. Okay, putting our stop loss probably right at these highs. This still looks like a pretty good risk to reward. Targeting these orb lows and then targeting your prior liquidity. So we swept PM highs. So we're going to go over, look for our PM lows and see if we sweep those. So this would have been our original entry. This is a 2-3-1 risk to reward. This is still a great risk to reward. And honestly, I would have continued to play this down all the way to yesterday's lows, which is right here. And you guys can see this is an absolute banger trade, right? So this is a great example of a bearish BB model. Okay, so we sweep highs, then we create a fair value gap, then we come back down, retest that fair value gap, we get our entry, and we move on. So let's go ahead and switch over to another example that actually happened the other day, and this was a great example of this. Okay, so let's see, where was it? Oh, where was it? It was right here. Okay, so this was another example. We took this trade. It was a great BB model trade. Okay, so we had yesterday lows literally right here. We barely swept these lows on this yellow line. Once we did sweep these lows, we saw a massive bounce back up, creating this 2-minute fair value gap. Once we did see this, now this is where I want to get into it because yes, we did retest right here. We could have easily taken this entry, but this is what the other confluences come with. So there is a 5-minute bearish fair value gap right here. Okay. Now, obviously, this is rough, but there is a 5-minute fair value gap right here, and these wicks, okay, we already had rejected out of it right here, so I wanted to wait and see how well we were going to respect this 2-minute. Well, we come back down, we respect this 2-minute, then we go up, we reject out of this 5-minute, come back down to this 2-minute, and we show that we are still showing respect to this 2-minute. So where do we get our entry? Well, we get our entry once we do see this strong bounce out of this 2-minute. So we go ahead and enter here, put our stop loss right at the bottom of this liquidity. We go ahead and target our 2 to 1, okay? So we first start with our 2 to 1 right about here. Okay, of course, we are taking trims once we do press up. There is orb right around here. This is orb low right here. Okay, orb low is right here. So we go ahead and take our trims at orb low. Then we end up running this all the way up and we take our final trim at orb high. Okay, and orb high is all the way up here. So we are able to take this trade all the way through orb low, all the way up through opening price, all the way up through yesterday highs, and all the way to orb high. Okay, so this is another great example. Once again, we see this liquidity sweep of lows, then we form a bullish fair value gap, and I really should change this to our bullish fair value gap color so you guys know. This is our bullish fair value gap. Once we see this, we want to wait and find other confluences. Of course, you always want to have an idea of where the market's going and why. So where is the market going? Well, the market's first probably going to go up, retest this fair value gap, and then we're going to see which fair value gap we respect, right? Well, we're respecting both of these right now, so I'm going to wait until a decision is made. I go ahead and take this pretty risky entry. Honestly, it's not probably the best entry of all time. I'm not going to act like it is, okay? But it followed all of our conditions. All of our rules were met. We did sweep these lows. We did make this fair value gap. We did come back and retest this fair value gap multiple times. And we also did respect this prior low, or this low that we swept. I think it was yesterday's lows or PM lows or something like that. We did respect those lows, okay? Now from the actual other side. So we did disrespect it here. Then we bounce back up. We respect it using that prior, support as now, well, newfound better support, right? showing that we are holding these levels and this fair value gap. So I go ahead and take this entry off this really bullish bounce, and we go ahead and take this trade all the way up here. So it was an absolutely amazing trade, a really great trade right there. And that is just another example of our BB model in action, baby. So let's go ahead and break down a few more examples. All right, so if you have been part of our channel or our community for a while now, you have seen this exact play probably 100 times, and I'm promising you, you're going to see it 100 more times, because this is literally what our BB model is based off of, okay? Finding the most amount of confluence in tandem with your liquidity sweep and your fair value gap, okay? So here's a great example of a trade that we took because of our BB model, right? So first of all, we see this liquidity sweep and we see this fair value gap. BB model's already met. It is so stupid simple. You're waiting for a liquidity sweep, waiting for a fair value gap, and you're waiting for a rejection off that fair value gap. That's it. That's it. Okay, of course, you want to find other confluences, and that's what we're talking about here. I see some other confluences like this 5-minute orb fake out. Okay, that's a great confluence for us. This 5-minute orb fake out lets me know that we are not able to break through this level. We also do see this liquidity sweep, so now I'm seeing 2 bearish confluences. Then we see this bearish fair value gap, 3 bearish confluences. We see the rejection out of this bearish fair value gap, 4 bearish confluences, right? Then we break below these EMAs after our entry. That's 5 bearish confluences, right? And what are we going to target? Well, we're going to go back and target those prior lows, okay? And those prior lows were right at this 15-minute fair value gap, okay? Because we had priorly bounced off the fair value gap. Got to say that every time. Wish I would have made a little bit more zoomed out picture, but you know. So we end up taking this trade out of the fair value gap. This is where we get our entry once we do close this candle outside of the fair value gap. And I'm going to actually make this a lot bigger for you guys so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So we go ahead and take this entry out of the fair value gap, right? We see this fair value gap get created, and this is actually a 3-minute fair value gap, but I'm on the 2-minute time frame right here, so the fair value gap is just slightly bigger. Now, we do get this rejection out of the fair value gap. We take this trade once the candle does close out of this fair value gap, and you guys can see we absolutely pour down. First, we target those orb lows, then we target those prior lows, which is this black line right here, and then we end up breaking through it because we are expecting a little sweep of those lows, which we do get right here, right? So this is another great example of our BB model. It is so profitable. It is so useful if you use it correctly. Once again, the rules are stupid simple. I mean, stupid simple, okay? Once again, let's define these rules here. We want to see a liquidity sweep of highs slash lows. Once we see the sweep of highs or lows, we want to look for a fair value gap to be formed back inside of the sweep. Okay, so once again, back inside of the sweep. So let's actually draw this out here. Let's say that this is our low, okay, and we want to see price come down. And we want to see price sweep this low, then maybe do something like this, and maybe, you know, create this fair value gap right here and push up. So if this is going to be our fair value gap right here, okay, we want to see us push up. Now, inversely, if we have a high up here, right, we want to see price come up to that high, right, something like this, sweep these highs, then, you know, maybe come back down, go like this. Okay, and we want to see this bearish fair value gap get formed somewhere like this, where we take our entry out of that fair value gap, okay? This should be very simple, but the one thing that you guys do need to remember is to wait for the candles to close, wait to see that rejection, and don't just assume that that rejection is going to happen, because sometimes it won't, right? Sometimes you'll sweep back above those highs and then go back down to the lows, okay? So you have to make sure that you understand that the market is actually shooting for that direction, right? So we go ahead and take our trade, our short out of this, put our stop loss slightly above either that fair value gap, depending on your RR. Once again, you want to find your own RR on these because it's going to be different every time. Some of these plays are going to be a lot bigger and a lot smaller. So for some examples, you want to go right behind this fair value gap. For some examples, you want to go right above the bottom of this liquidity and then target whatever your targets are going to be, highs or lows or whatever. If you swept yesterday's highs, look for yesterday's lows or something like that, right? And then same over here. You want to look for this entry out of this fair value gap once we do actually see a push off of it, once we have confirmation that we have now retested and continued on. So these are what our trades are going to look like. Very easy, very technical. And once again, we sweep these highs and lows, highs or lows, right? Then we want to see a fair value gap get formed back inside of the sweep. Once we see that, we want to see fair value gap get retested and respected. Very important. You want to wait and see this get respected, retested, and respected. Okay, once this does happen, you can go ahead and look for your entry. Look for entry on candle closure. Okay, right, and you want to see this fair value gap once again be on the 1 to 3 minute. So this should be brain dead. I mean, this should be really, really, really easy for you guys. It's nothing too crazy. It's nothing that is out of this world. It's nothing that we haven't talked about or seen before, right? And it is something that really isn't too bad. It's nothing that you know. I feel like I've given you guys all of the resources that you need to be able to understand this play. Is what I'm trying to say. Everything that we have talked about and taught over the past couple of boot camp lessons, right? I feel like perfectly depicts what we are seeing right now. Okay. We are able to take these trades because we have taken the time to find our confluences, such as our fair value gaps, our liquidity sweeps, finding other things like breaking back into orb, right? Because right here, we also see that we are retesting orb high, right? So we reject off of the fair value gap. We also reject off of orb high. So that gives me another idea that we are continuing downwards, right? I also can see that most likely right here, if I were to draw out my fib, well, our fib, we bounce right out of the golden zone on this fib. And then where do we target? Well, we target all the way down. And if I put an extension here on my fib at our -1 and go ahead and edit this color so it's not an ugly red. Well, these would be our targets, 0, 0.5, and our 1 extension, right? Well, great profit-taking targets right there, okay? So this is another great example of how we can use all of these confluences to make us better traders, right? And the BB model is one of the best ways to do so. So make sure you guys are checking out the BB model and make sure you guys are using this to the best of your ability because I'm telling you, it doesn't present itself often, but if you're patient, you wait for the opportunity to present itself, you will make an absolute bag with this model. That's really all. I have to head out and go get some lunch with my grandma. It's her birthday, so everybody comment happy birthday, Granny, down below. But seriously, this is really such an easy model. It's one of my favorite models to use. It is very, very profitable if you're able to use it correctly. And now, once again, with those group coaching calls, those group coaching that we're doing, I already have over 2 hours worth of just the BB model explanations, examples, explanation, texts that explain it, true live trades that explain it. We have all of that. So I just want to put that out there for you guys who are looking to actually get better as traders. And once again, actually looking to get better as traders. If you want to tell yourself that you're getting better as a trader, but not wanting to, take the time to do so, this is unfortunately not for you. I don't want you to get your hopes up and think that this is going to be somewhere we're just going to turn you profitable. Well, we can if you're going to help us in the form of putting your best foot forward, doing all that you can with us and the resources that we give you to get better. Okay. If that's you, please shoot me a DM. This is directed exactly at you. This is going to help you get profitable, whether that is you're one step away or whether that is you seriously have never traded the market before. We have everything from what candlesticks are to how to trade our BB model, our orb model, our wick theory model, etc. We have models that I don't even talk about in premium or post here on YouTube in this course. So I don't want to act like I'm making some crazy pitch. I'm just putting this forward for you guys who are looking to get better because this is seriously one of the best overall structured courses that I've ever seen. I've put this together from the standpoint of what I would want to know first, what I wish I was taught first, to what I wish was taught second, third, fourth, fifth, in chronological order so it's easy and digestible so that you can understand it. Then also with those group coaching calls, we'll do those 2 to 3 times a week where you guys will be able to ask questions, look at trade recaps, literally anything that you guys need help with. That is what this service and my presence is for. Okay, I want all of our traders to be profitable and take a payout of over $5,000 within the 6 months that this course runs. Okay, so that is my main goal, is to make everyone that wants to sign up for this 1% better every single day. And by the time we get through our 100 roughly days of this course, we should be 100% better as traders, taking our own payouts, doing all of that independently, because that's my goal. You guys shouldn't have to rely on me, and that's why I make these videos. That's why I do this course, so on and so forth. But that is going to be it for me, boys. We have our last video tomorrow on our become the 1%. Okay, so tomorrow's going to be a big video, really big video, and I'm really excited to make that video. But I thank you guys for checking in once again. I thank you guys for watching and learning about our BB model. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to click the link in the description, join up for free, and shoot me a DM or comment down below, right? So make sure you guys do check all of that out. We also do have our Instagram link down below, where we are starting to get a few more followers over there and post more videos. So make sure you guys do check that out. But really, that is it from me. I hope you guys were able to understand and get some good, useful information from our BB model. But yeah. I feel good. I feel good. I feel like we've been able to do a lot of good stuff with this entire series. So I feel really good about this. If there is any final questions that you guys would like to be answered in tomorrow's videos, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to answer any final questions that you guys do have. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me here. I'm gonna go eat some lunch with Granny, baby. I'll catch y'all later.